I don't remember who said this, but I've heard that the reason God made babies so cute was so that parents would be less tempted to just give up. And I think it's true. Seeing your baby smile or giggle for a single moment, even after hours of screaming and whining, makes it all worth it. But David Lynch isn't God, and in Eraserhead, the baby he creates is in no way cute. It's greasy and deformed, and it screeches constantly like some kind of injured goat. Seeing this hideous creature puts us in the same headspace as the parents,
Henry and Mary X.
With their relationship in shambles and not even a cute baby to unite them, you can understand all too well why they want to toss in the towel. So backing up, I saw Eraserhead for the first time not long after the birth of my wife and I's son. And if you've spent any time around a newborn, you know that the first few months are filled with a lot of sleepless nights. It requires an incredible amount of patience and energy and self-control, all for a small human who shows you no appreciation for your efforts. Anyway, I remember watching Eraserhead late one night for some reason, and it was either the worst timing in my life or the absolute best timing. Something about watching two parents struggle to maintain their sanity with a constantly crying baby just hit close to home. All of the anxiety and frustration and exhaustion that can come with having a baby is wrapped up in the film. But instead of making the movie unwatchable, all of these raw emotions make for a film that is uncommonly honest. In no way does Eraserhead seem like a criticism of parenthood. It feels like an expression of artistic empathy for parents who feel like they're at their wits' end. It does what I think great horror movies can do, because at their worst, horror films simply exploit our fears. They can treat sensitive topics flippantly and are more interested in assaulting the audience than communicating with them or relating to them. But at their best, horror films empathize with the audience. They may scare the life out of us, but only because they truly understand what makes something frightening. And even if there isn't a happy resolution to those fears, simply being understood and being heard can be a fulfilling experience. It's a miracle that Eraserhead manages to feel so real and relatable, given all of its surreal elements. Maybe it's because the bizarre imagery feels oddly organic to the narrative and atmosphere that Lynch builds from the beginning. We may not understand why there's a singing lady living in the radiator, but given the world that Lynch has created, it's more a question of why not. Still, that's not to say that people haven't tried to interpret every element of the film. For over 40 years, people have theorized about the significance of every character and every prop. Even the sound design has spawned countless theories. There's supposedly meaning behind the plants in Spencer's apartment, and in the pencil factory, and in the guy with the levers, and in the leaky chickens, everything. And I think plenty of these theories hold water, but at the end of the day, Lynch doesn't think of his films in the same way that Christopher Nolan does. They're not puzzles as much as they are abstract paintings. There's intention and purpose, but more than anything, there's emotion. The narrative, the cinematography, and especially the sound design are simply supposed to make you feel. And what you feel by the end of Eraserhead may be different from what I feel, but that's kind of the point.
One of the recurrent images in your films is of electricity arcing, is of light bulbs crackling on, and you have a recurrent motif of like 2 points and something arcing between them. And it seems to me that this somehow relates to what you think about the synaptic arcs in our brain. When you talk about TM, when you talk about these things, you talk about making connections. It seems to me that that's what that recurrent visual motif is about. And I know you hate saying what things mean in your films, but am I right in thinking that that's at least in the right area?
No.
Eraserhead is one of my all-time favorite movies, and yet I've only recommended it to a handful of people. Half the time I think I'm too embarrassed to recommend a film so odd and grotesque, and half the time I worry that my attempts to sell the film will only discourage people from watching it. But still, if you haven't seen Eraserhead, check it out. It's hilarious and horrifying and incredibly ambitious. And if you really want to maximize your viewing experience, make sure to have a baby beforehand.